Well, hey guys, it's Tony from Tony Talks Cards. It's been a week. Been probably since a week or more since my last video, and we are talking cards again. It's been a little while. Work's been kind of crazy. January is kind of the busiest month here for me, so I meant to get a few others out. Had some pickups in the mail, but we'll have to kind of group those together, I guess, in future videos here too. But for right now, it's the end of the week. It's Friday. It's January 24th to date this video. I picked up a lot of stuff in November, December, even to January already. I realized I hadn't talked about, but it was picked up for a reason. It meant something to me at the time. It's based on kind of a mini collection, mini project I'm working on. So I thought, hey, I'd show a couple from the same set, talk about why I got them, some research on the players I thought were interesting, and ultimately why I picked them up and why I'm happy to have them in my collection. So this will be the 1956 Tops video. So I got 3 pickups from 56 Tops Baseball to walk you through here. So again, thank you for joining. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and let's kick it off here. So the first card is a card showing a player with my favorite team, the Chicago Cubs. No, it's not Ernie Banks. It is 1956 Tops Monty Irvin. So Monty Irvin's not known for playing with the Cubs. More known for playing with the Giants, but his last year and his last Topps playing days card is with the Cubs. So I picked this card up because it was the last playing days card. Obviously the last playing days cards will be cheaper typically, probably always, than the rookie cards. And as I look at to pick up a few more Baseball Hall of Famers and people I didn't know much about but want to know more about, right? The last card usually is the cheapest. And for me as a Cubs player, or a Cubs, not a player, for a Cubs collecting guy, having a player Hall of Famer, even though he only spent one year with the Cubs, right? It was on this card. And so again, picked up this card probably a few months ago, showing him in his action pose there in the field. It's a PSA 4. Got a few soft corners here and there, but in general, right, show it this way maybe even two. The centering's pretty good, right? Nothing too miscut or off center. So I did like the card. I do like a lot of these cards because of the horizontal layout of the cards. So that's something there too. A few things I didn't know about him is that he played with the Newark Eagles. The Newark Eagles are one of the teams, or the team, that Larry Doby played for as well. And in 1946, the Eagles won the Negro League Championship against Satchel Paige's Monarchs. So I didn't know that. Kind of a cool connection back to that card here, too. In 1951, he was also asked to mentor a young up-and-coming New York Giant named Willie Mays. So he had a connection with him as well. And at the time of his death in 2016, he was the oldest living former Negro League player and the oldest former New York Giant and Chicago Cub. He was born, I think, in 1919 and lived to be 20 till 2016. So good 97 or so years there. So made the Hall of Fame in 1973 as well. But again, like the Cub, like the card, the horizontal layout. I do like this 56 Tops card. I like the 1960 Tops as well, baseball, because they're horizontal too. I like the colors, the design, the layout. So again, maybe something for me around the horizontal layout too. The face, the fielding, the action shot, very clear, very, very large. So I could pick that up as well here. And on the back, just because I do like the statistics reading off the back, it says Monty Irvin was a power hitter. He led the NL in RBIs in 1951, and he broke his ankle in 52, but returned to bat 329 the next season. And it also says he joins the Cubs this year after hitting 352 with 14 home runs at Minneapolis in 1955. So there you go. 56 Tops Monty Irvin. The next one is a player that's pretty well documented on various channels that I've been subscribing to, so I don't want to rehash all the cool and interesting and historical details about this guy, but did pick up a card of his a month or so ago. This is the 1956 Tops Larry Doby. Again, love the large face picture, his batting stance. He's with the White Sox, I believe, in this picture here too. This is a PSA 3 with an MK, a mark note to it. And I bought this off of eBay or a Facebook group. I forget which one I bought it off of, but the guy I bought it off from, I said, hey, where's the mark at? Do you see it? And it's a little bit of a pencil mark right up here. Probably really hard to tell on this camera. I apologize. But whether the story is true or not, the guy told me, who was the original owner of this, that this pencil mark on the corner of the card was meant to signify which cards he owned and which cards his cousin owned. That's just what they did in 1956 or 57, I suppose. So again, tiny thing in the corner. You've got, I think, really good centering on that as well. Nothing too off center, looks pretty good. It's got the soft corners and maybe a light wrinkle I saw in the light, but again, I like this card. Not his last playing days card like the Monty Irvin was, but again, does signify a nice picture of him, a Hall of Famer. Again, he played with the White Sox, of course, but also the Indians and also the Tigers at the end of his career as well. But like I did with the Monty Irvin, let's read off the back of the card, see what it has to say as well. So it says, a top power hitter. Larry joined Chicago after 9 years with Cleveland. So there you go there. In 1952 and 54, he was the AL homer champ. And then on June 4th, 1952, he had a single, double, triple, and homer in one game, also known as the cycle. So kind of cool. It has that documented here on the back of the Larry Doby 56 Topps card as well. You got a trade, a home run champ, and a hit for the cycle in 1952. So very cool there as well. He ended his career with 273 home runs and 1,099 RBI. One thing I note, I like stats. I like the back of the cards, the stats. One thing you'll notice with these cards right here, right, they just have like the 1 year. They don't have like the last 10 years, 20 years of stats like some of the later Topps cards and other cards did too. But looking back at his stats, it was interesting because there were 8 seasons he had 20 home runs or more. 8 straight seasons of 20 homers or more from the late 40s, I think, through the 50s. 2 of those 8 seasons, he had 20 plus home runs. And one, he only had 69 RBI. The other one, he only had 75. So, for example, one of the seasons, he hit 26 home runs and 75 RBI. So, not many people on base during that year. Whereas in other years, he hit 20 plus home runs and had over 100 RBI. So, again, you can hit the home runs, but then you need the guys on base to bring them home and maybe win a few more ball games than other years. So, kind of interesting statistical facts and seeing some oddball patterns in some of his home run years there in the early 50s there. So, um, again, Larry Doby, Hall of Fame, 1956 card right there. His last card I thought about picking up as well. His last Topps card is in 1959 with the Detroit Tigers. I may pick that one up eventually too to kind of go with my last playing days Topps cards I have of guys like Monty Irvin and some others too. I've showed off like Ernie Banks, so we'll see about that. Last but not least, again, this guy's been talked about a lot on various channels I subscribe to, and others have written books and documented way much more than I will ever know about this player. But happy to pick this up too. It's a 1956 Bob Feller. So again, um, his last Topps playing days card too. It's not graded. I bought it off eBay. There is a crease in it. I didn't ask where it was, and I probably should have asked. I mean, you don't really see it. I mean, you have to kind of tilt it in the light, and even now you maybe can't see it, but it's kind of right across this corner right here, kind of going that direction, right? So direct off in the light, you can't tell. It's a great looking card. I love the centering, the whiteness, soft corners as these things do, being almost 70 years old, but again, love his smiling face, the pitching pose, the signature there, very clear. Nice centering there too. Is a crease. Won't get it graded. I'm sure in a year or less, the crease that I know about, of course, will bother me, and maybe I'll pick up one that's not creased, raw or graded. But again, for right now, I'm glad to have this in my collection for his last playing days Topps card. And just looking back at the back of this card too, I didn't show the backs of the other ones, obviously, but again, some cool stats on the back of this one. Um, 3 really amazing stats in the back of his last playing days card. So the first one is Bob shares the record for pitching the most no hitters with 3 as of this date. Second, he also struck out 18 men in one game in 1938, which is an all-time mark. Again, three no-hitters, 18 men struck out. But there's a third fact on this card. Bob has won more games than any other active pitcher. That's not too bad. That's not too bad for a summary on the back of your card for the last playing days card you have. Um, Not too bad of a guy and career right there too. So happy to have that card in my collection as well. So again, others have documented Bob Feller, Larry Doby, and maybe Monty Irvin a bit more than I have for sure. But I want to share some recent pickups, kind of what they meant to me, some things found interesting about them on the back of the card, front of the card. Um, I have a lot more to show I've been picking up. I just can't get them all into a few videos here. And with work hopefully being a little more average the next 2, 3, 4 weeks here, hopefully put out a few more videos each week. But thank you all for your support, your comments, your likes, and having me as part of this community. I appreciate it. I've met a ton of great folks virtually and look to meet more and interact more into 2025. So again, thanks guys and have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.